our church, so all the musicians participating are donating their talents. We're so blessed with the rich talents these folks share so freely with us. It will be a delight, and we hope you can join us. Finally, many thanks for everyone joining us today, both here and online, and for supporting our ministry with your tithes and donations, whether by PayPal, our website, or here in the offering baskets. We're grateful for your support. As always, we start with prayer, holding the highest in mind and heart for ourselves, each other, and our communities and our world. If you're listening online, remember you can send in a prayer request anytime on our website, unitydelawareohio.org. Just use the prayer request tab at the top of the page. Now, Linda and Dave will lead us into a prayer with a song.
Good morning. Would you join us in singing In the Stillness? In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is love. In the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace, there is love.
All right, so I invite you just to take a moment. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes or lower your gaze. And let us take a moment just to breathe into the sacred space, to feel the peace that arises when we turn inward, and to recognize the divine presence that is always here, always now, and always love. You are loved with an everlasting love. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not outside of God's grace. Right where you are, the whole presence of divine love is. With every breath, open more fully to the infinite loving kindness that flows through all things. Picture this kindness as a golden light, soft and warm, flowing into your heart from divine source. Allow it to fill you, to heal you, to move through you. Offer this light now to all beings, near friend and stranger, self and other. We know this is the truth of ourselves, as the truth of all beings everywhere. The whole presence of divine love unfolds each one of us. For those present in our circle this morning, for those joining us online, for those precious ones we are holding in our heart this morning, for all beings everywhere, the whole presence of divine love enfolds us. The love of God flows through each one of us, healing our wounds, making us whole, guiding us to our highest good, making the path before us plain and straight, sustaining us, filling us with peace, with joy, and with love. I invite you to live in that love. Open your heart to God's love. Let it comfort you, let it heal you, let it challenge you, and let it transform you. Let it pour from you into a world that is so desperately in need of it. Let love be your breath, your prayer, your power, and your path. We are one with God who makes all things possible, and we are so grateful. And so it is. Amen.
This next song, I know you'll know. Please feel free to sing along. This is, it was made famous by Louis Armstrong in 1967, but it was written by Teal and Weiss. What a Wonderful World. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. And I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
you, Linda and Dave. Wow, what a perfect introduction. I couldn't ask for a better introduction than what I'm going to share with you this morning. Thank you for that. It's beautiful. So I do have a joke. You know my theory on humor. It kind of opens us up. Hopefully it surprises us, or just makes us a little more receptive to what's going to happen. I think you've heard this. I think Joanne shared it, but hopefully good jokes are worth repeating. So a parishioner compliments the minister after a sermon, saying, "Reverend, your words today were akin to the peace and love of God." The minister was taken aback, and he said, "Well, why, thank you. Well, why do you say that?" The parishioner explained, "Well, because just like your sermon, Pastor, the peace of God passes all understanding, and the love of God endures forever." So hopefully that won't be your experience this morning after my talk. So in unity, we affirm that God is love, not as an emotion that comes and goes, but love is infinite creative energy that sustains all life. Love is not something God does. Love is what God is. Charles Fillmore, university's co-founder, reminds us that God is the love in everybody and in everything. The first step to living in the love of God is to recognize it. Dan did an interesting exercise with his adult education class in Lima a few weeks ago. They were studying the Musar soul trait of loving kindness, and they explored the question, how do your loved ones show you they love you without saying it? I invite you to ponder that question for just a moment. How have your loved ones shown you they love you during this past week without saying it? Hopefully it's not taking too long for some answers to come to mind. Perhaps someone made you a delicious meal, or washed the dishes so that you could rest after you made the meal. Maybe it was a letter or a call from an old friend. Perhaps someone brought you flowers to brighten your day, or asked you to go on a walk with them. As you can imagine, the answers came quickly to that group and were a joy to hear. And as Dan shared that exercise with me, I asked myself the question, how does God show me it loves me without saying it? I explored that question for several days in my journal, and this is what I came up with. When I receive each breath, rather than taking it, I'm reminded that God loves me. When the birds sing to me every morning, sometimes earlier than I would like them to, that is God saying, I love you. It's time to get up and accept the gift of another day. When I'm on my daily walk, very hot and sweaty this past week, and a cool breeze comes up from nowhere, God is saying, I love you. The sunrise and sunset, the moonrise and moonset, the stars, the rustling of the leaves, the sound of a brook, a card from a friend, the love of our pets, an unexpected kindness from a stranger, the pulse in our veins, the joy in a child's giggle, the colorful wings of a butterfly in the sun, the distinctive and delicious spices in a tasty meal. These are just some of the ways God says, I love you. In Isaiah 58:11, we read, the Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in the sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. Every day we live on this earth, God is saying, I love you. The first step toward living in God's love is to notice it, to name it, and to appreciate it. When we can recognize and appreciate the many ways God shows its love, we deepen our awareness of the divine consciousness that expresses each one of us and all of creation. It's really quite remarkable, because we are made in the image and likeness of this divine love. We too are expressions of love. Living in the love of God means recognizing that you are never separated from it. You don't have to earn it or chase it, nor can you ever become unworthy of it. We are already rooted in it, just as the branches of a tree are rooted in the trunk, which is rooted in the life-giving soil. Joel Goldsmith taught that God's love is not preferential. It doesn't bless some and withhold from others. God is not a being who chooses to love you or to love us. God is love. And that love flows universally through all of God's creation, like the sun which shines on all of us. Love is not something God has, it is what God is. Therefore, love is never withheld or measured. It simply is everywhere and always. Why is that so hard for us to realize? The challenge here is what I call transparent beliefs. Somewhere in our old theological beliefs, many of us were under the impression that God's love for us depended on us being worthy or deserving, and that if we were bad or sinned, God would withhold its love. For example, I was raised in the Baptist tradition when I was taught at a young age that I was a sinner and that I had to accept Jesus Christ as my Savior to be saved from the punishment for my sins. That's a lot for a young child to wrap her head around. And while I no longer believe that I'm a sinner that needs to be saved, those early beliefs still have a way of creeping in and going undetected at times. Then I have difficulty accepting and experiencing God's unfailing and constant love. When we can accept the fact that God is love, and that God's rain falls on the just and the unjust alike, when we remember that we cannot start or stop the flow of God's love by what we do or don't do, then we can experience living in God's love in each and every moment, whether we judge that moment to be good or bad, beautiful or challenging. Even when we realize we're always in the presence of divine love, we can sometimes feel disconnected. We may find ourselves caught up in fear, in judgment, or in self-doubt. This is why practice is essential. To live in the love of God is to align our awareness with His ever-present reality. Our spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, forgiveness, gratitude, and loving service increase our awareness of God's loving presence with us always. Unity teacher Eric Butterworth reminds us, we don't pray to get God to love us more. We pray to become aware of how much we are already loved. We are not working to get God's love. We are working to accept it, to express it, and to become conscious conduits of it in our lives. Joel Goldsmith, in his book entitled Living the Infinite Way, teaches that our awareness of God's ever-present love, which expresses through all beings, can be blocked by our personal terms, by our use of personal terms like I, me, and you. When we think, I am not deserving, or I just don't understand enough, we place our focus on a limited self rather than the infinite source, which is love. Similarly, when we dwell on my love, my health, or your supply, or your worthiness, we create a sense of separation from the divine. God is continuously pouring forth its infinite love, but because we use such words as I, me, and mine, we are not able to accept it. As humans, we are both a physical being and a spiritual being. And as physical beings, we experience limitations. However, as spiritual beings, we are infinite divine consciousness. It is from this spiritual center of divine consciousness that we live as channels of God's love in this world, a love that is not dependent on being earned or deserved. We also block the flow of God's infinite love when we make love a commodity, an asset that can be traded, when we receive but then feel obligated to pay back in kind. I found myself trapped in this way of being last year during my recovery. One of our neighbors took it upon themselves to periodically make our meals for us to help us out. And rather than freely receiving this outpouring of God's love, I found myself becoming stressed, trying to figure out how I could repay them for their kindness and generosity. And the fact was, I couldn't. It was an important lesson for me and some training for what would soon follow. Thankfully, this past March and May, Dan and I were able to travel again. However, I needed some assistance navigating the airports. And rather than feeling diminished or ashamed that I needed help, and that I got put to the front of the line with all those people waiting behind me, which is my tendency to feel a little bit ashamed and diminished, I was able to freely receive the help that strangers provided to me as they wheeled me through the turnpike in a wheelchair. And I looked forward to generously tipping them in return. It was there that I experienced that receiving and giving are really one. In order to receive, we must be able to give. That's something we recognize pretty quickly. But maybe more importantly, in order to give, we have to be able to receive. Since giving and receiving are necessary parts of sharing God's love, we need to be mindful that we do not make the act of giving and receiving loving kindness transactional. Knowing that we have access to God's love in every moment, how do we then share this love with the world? The first step toward radiating God's love is to develop compassion for ourselves and our own wounds. True compassion does not come from wanting to help out those we judge as less fortunate than ourselves, but from realizing our kinship with those beings. Just as you and I are an expression of God's love, so is everyone else an expression of God's love. Compassion does not come from a sense of obligation, but out of an irresistible feeling that stirs deep within us. It is a calling, a movement of your soul when you are pierced by the recognition of your direct connection with another soul. I give to you because your need is my need. Your suffering is my suffering. I feel one with you and I respond as freely toward you as I would toward myself. The natural state of our heart is to love like this. But for our heart to function in its natural state, it has to be open. Often our hearts are closed from the stories we tell ourselves, from the fears we harbor, and from our own woundedness. Living in the love of God is not about being perfect. It's about being real. Real with our wounds, real with our growth, and real with the truth that that love is always working through us. I started a practice when I awake each morning, when the birds wake me up. I started this practice of stating my appreciation for the gift of another day and stating my intention to perform an act of loving kindness during that day. And it's just a very simple little prayer when I wake up, as I receive this day with gratitude and the gifts that it brings, and I am aware of how I can share my love in this world today. And it's a simple practice that has proved very powerful. These acts of loving kindness are seemingly small things, such as letting someone merge in front of you in traffic, stopping to allow a pedestrian to cross, opening the door for a young mom with several children in tow. And yet these acts are powerful in their ripple effects. Several years ago, Reader's Digest invited their readers to share stories of acts of loving kindness they had experienced. And here are some of the stories that I was most touched by. The first story is for the artists in our midst. Marilyn Kinsella from Canada shares, I forgot about the rule preventing liquids in carry-on luggage. So when I hit the security at the airport, I had to give up all my painting supplies. When I returned a week later, an attendant was in the baggage area with my paints. Not only had he kept them for me, but he'd taken the time to look up my return date and time in order to meet me. Clarence Stevens from Kentucky recalls his experience with an act of loving kindness. Leaving a store, I returned to my car only to find I'd locked my keys and my cell phone inside. A teenager riding his bike saw me kick a tire and say a few choice words. What's wrong, he asked. I explained my situation. But even if I could call my wife, I said, she can't bring me her car key because this is our only car. The teenager handed me his cell phone. And he said, call your wife and tell her I'm coming to get her key. But that's 7 miles round trip, I replied. Don't worry about it. An hour later, he returned with my key. I offered to give him some money, but he refused. Let's just say I needed the exercise, he said. Then, like a cowboy in the movies, he rode off into the sunset. Stacy Lee from Maryland shares this powerful story. I saw a dress in a consignment shop that I knew my granddaughter would love. But money was really tight, so I asked the store owner if she could hold it for me. May I buy the dress for you? Said another customer. I said, thank you, but I can't accept such a gracious gift. Then she told me why it was so important for her to help me. She'd been homeless for 3 years, she said, and had it not been for the kindness of strangers, she would not have been able to survive. I'm no longer homeless and my situation has improved, she said. I promised myself that I would repay the kindness so many had shown to me. She paid for the dress, and the only payment she would accept in return was a heartfelt hug. These stories illustrate that one act of compassion can spark a wave of loving kindness. It's a powerful reminder that even in deep hardship, love still flows. Our acts of loving kindness for each other embody God's love, quietly given, deeply felt, and transformational. These stories also reflect how divine love often expresses itself through those with the fewest resources, but with the biggest hearts. Our sacrifice and care for others show that when we act from love, even in difficult circumstances, we are living in God's love and sharing it with the world. In a world filled with fear and violence, we each have the power to bring more light by doing acts of love and kindness every day. In unity, we affirm that we are not merely recipients of God's love, we are its expression. We are here to be the hands and heart of God in the world. As Myrtle Fillmore said, we are here to let God's love and wisdom and power express through us. So when you offer kindness to a stranger, when you listen to another with compassion and an open heart, when you speak truth with gentleness, you are living in the love of God. Let's close in a word of prayer. As we close our eyes and settle into this moment, we pause to dwell in the love of God. Imagine that you were surrounded by a gentle radiant light. This is the light of divine love. It is warm, it is safe, it is healing. It is not separate from you. It flows through you, filling every cell, every thought, every emotion. You are immersed in it, you are made of it, you are it. Love flows from you effortlessly because you are not the source, you are the vessel. God's love moves through you into the world easily and abundantly. Carry this truth with you today. You are beloved, you are a loving expression, and you live always in the love of God. And so it is. Amen.
What a wonderful message. Loving kindness and keeping an open heart. And this song that we're going to do is, you might have heard it at Toy Story. It's by Randy Newman. It's called You've Got a Friend in Me. And sing along if you know
Your kids
it.
know the words.
Yeah, your grandkids and your kids know it. You got a friend in me. Sorry, let's start it again.
Start this again.
Excuse me. Okay, let's see if we can find the note there. You've got a friend in me. There it is. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me.
Well, first of all, a warm thank you to Elizabeth Betzel for that very timely, and we all needed to hear the message about love and kindness. And thanks to Linda and Dave for the great songs, and I really like the last one too. That's really spot on. So thank you. And many thanks to Mike Hale, who has a few stressful moments, but he's got it under control, I think. So thank you, Mike. And today is the 5th Sunday, so it's a group effort. Everybody pitched in for a gathering today, and so please join us back there. There's a lot of goodies and a lot of great conversation. It's how we all keep in touch with each other. So hope to see you back in the gathering space. And again, thanks for your ongoing support of our church. We wouldn't be here without your tithes and gifts. Just a quick recap. Don't forget the Unity's Women Luncheon on Tuesday at 12:30. On Thursday, 1 o'clock, yoga with Tamara. And on Sunday, July 13th, Darren Wells from Unity of Columbus will be speaking and also doing a workshop. So if you're interested, please sign up for the workshop on the sheet back there on the table. And mark your calendars for the summer concert, July 26th. Whoops, I don't know what happened.
It died.
Yeah.
Battery.
And I think that's it. Are there any other announcements? Okay. All right, well, why don't we gather for the peace song and prayer for protection.